Water is a fundamental need of every living being, simply we cannot survive without it. Water plays a crucial role in the beginning of life on planet Earth as we know it. When we look into the past, we can see how much early civilizations' progress, prosperity and living standards were mainly based on water. Because of that they can grow crops, take care of their livestocks, and use these assets to grow their civilization. Many historical civilizations are doomed because of the lack of water. These civilizations have knowledge about the groundwater to prove that we could trace back the wells 8,000 years ago. But when it comes to supply and demand, that time technology was not capable of fulfilling the need of water, only with the help of groundwater. That's why historical civilizations heavily rely on surface water like rivers, but when the rivers change their directions and move away from the civilizations, the prosperous city of the past faces an imminent end which causes mass migrations because of the extreme dependence on water. 50% of the world lives 3 kilometers away from fresh water supply, and on the extreme end, only 10% of the world lives further than 10 kilometers away from the fresh water. Water is a crucial resource, but it is also abundant. That's why it is often taken for granted. 71% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, and the ocean holds 96.5% of it. The rest of the water is in rivers and lakes, in ice caps and glaciers, and also in air as water vapor, and also in the ground as aquifers. But not all the water in the world is usable. Approximately 97% of the world's water is salt water that is not usable for crops, livestocks, and for us humans. Need to drink 3.7 liters of water for men and 2.7 liters of water for women per day, and there are 7.96 billion of us in the year 2022. But the problem is that humans cannot drink salt water. Basically, the sodium and water inside your cells need to be balanced with the sodium and water outside your cells. When the sodium from seawater enters your bloodstream, your cells will try to maintain the balance by dumping their water into your bloodstream. Your kidneys will use the water to excrete as much sodium as possible through your urine, resulting in extreme dehydration. That means 97% of the water is useless to us humans. Crops and livestock, all of them are heavily based on live fresh water, and 2% of the fresh water is stored in glaciers, ice caps, and snowy mountain ranges. That leaves only 1% that is in use by the entire world. When a civilization is far away from the water source, they realize its importance that could even cause wars, and when they get water in abundant, human waste it like there's no tomorrow. The 1% water that is in use with the rest of the world, not everybody has it equally. Brazil has the highest freshwater resources in the world, which accounts for approximately 12% of the world's freshwater resources. Brazil has 8233 cubic kilometers of freshwater. It is just because the Amazon region of this country contains 70% of the total freshwater. After Brazil, Russia is next on the list with 4507 cubic kilometers of freshwater. After that there is the United States 3069 and Canada with 2902 cubic kilometers of freshwater. And at the lower end there is Kuwait, which has only 0.02 cubic kilometers of freshwater resources. Before you stop drinking water and flushing toilets, only 8% of the water goes into domestic use and 22% of the water goes into the industries. Out of this 1% world supply of fresh water, 70% of it is used in agriculture. Climate change and global warming cause droughts and decrease the frequency and the amounts of rain. That caused the agriculture industry to rely more and more on freshwater supply of rivers and aquifers that cause them to dry, which is also a main cause of land to sinken, and which is noticeable with bare eyes. Freshwater that is used in agriculture are oftenly mismanaged that cause waste of water, and due to fertilizers the wasted water is useless and dangerous to us. Water shortage is a major problem for the agriculture industry, and the traditional methods like drowning the crops with water cause a lot of waste, but new methods like sprinkling the water on the crops has been adopted by many farmers, but this method is still wasteful. Country like Israel have made a major advancement in controlling water waste by introducing new technology like drip irrigation systems, which has the highest water efficiency of 70 to 80% compared to open irrigation, which achieves 40%. Along with this tech, Israel also recycles 85% of wastewater and uses it in agriculture. Israel also holds the crown of world's largest desalination plant, giving the country a water surplus. The rest of the world should learn from Israel. They have 1.74 cubic kilometers of freshwater resources, and they are smartly managing and recycling their water. Now let's talk about aquifers or groundwater. Holds 0.75% of the world's freshwater supply. That means means only 0.25% is surface freshwater like river, lake and swamps. But humans' heavy dependence is sucking aquifers dry, and if we do not recharge them again, this situation will get much more dire, especially for those places who have no access to freshwater rivers or lakes. Nature needs hundreds or sometimes thousands of years to refill those aquifers, but now nature needs our help to refill or recharge these aquifers, and keeping them recharged, these aquifers can stop the salt water entering in the aquifers. That's why human intervention is needed to refill those aquifers before the ground sinks in, or these aquifers get filled with salt water. NASA satellites are helping the world to locate and to recharge the aquifers by taking images of large geographical locations and comparing them. This data explains how the drying aquifers are causing the sinking and the changing of the terrains. California is taking steps to refill these aquifers by recycling wastewater to ensure the long-lasting freshwater supply for its people and agriculture industry. Water mismanagement should not be taken lightly, and we all should remember Cape Town and how close they were to day zero, and only because of the management of water they came out of that scenario. But if the world remain incompetent about water and does not do anything to recover it, then every country will face their own day zero. Allow me to interrupt you there, and if you like this video or content like this, then kindly subscribe to my channel and like this video. Now let's continue. Those countries who have sufficient amounts of water does not spend enough money to recover their infrastructure. Only in the United States 6 billion gallons of water is wasted every day due to leakage in infrastructure. It is expected that 700 million people will be displaced due to water scarcity by 2030, and there are people who are inspired by the James Bond villains and want to capitalize on the water crisis simply by buying the water-rich lands now to make money when the world is deprived of its most fundamental resource. On July 28, 2010, United Nations General Assembly recognized access to safe drinking water and sanitation are internationally recognized human rights, and water is not just used in drinking or cleaning, it is used in the production of almost everything we use. For example, a kilogram of beef takes an average of 15,415 liters of water. 1 kilogram of cotton takes on average 10,000 liters. 1 cup of coffee uses 140 liters of water to grow, and rice consumes about 5,000 liters of water per kilograms. This shows us that when the water crisis begins, it will impact everything from drinking water to the clothes we wear. Now let's talk about converting salt water to fresh water. This process is known as desalination, and it could be a game changer because it will enable us to convert 97% of the seawater to fresh water, and this technology is not new. Greek sailors used to boil water to evaporate fresh water away from the salt, and Romans used clay filters to trap salt. But you would probably be wondering why not every country has started their own desalination plans. Well, the first problem is the cost of construction, and many countries cannot afford it, so they build long pipes to carry the water from the lakes or the rivers, and secondly, the power consumption of the plant. Salt can easily mix with the water and form a strong bond, so in order to separate them, a lot of energy is consumed that is also dangerous for global warming because of carbon emission. Although solar power can cut the carbon emission and the cost of the plant, there are two common ways to extract the salt from the seawater. One is in which the salt water is boiled to collect fresh water from it. This process is called thermal desalination, and the other method in which salt water is passed through the semi-permeable membranes in high pressure that allow only water to pass. This process is called reverse osmosis, but in both of the processes we end up with the byproduct known as brine. It is extremely toxic to organisms. That's why it could not be dumped into the water, because it can destroy the marine ecosystem. There are 177 countries which generate an estimated 95 million cubic meter of fresh water per day. But unfortunately it is still 1%, but hopefully this will increase with the new technology. Well, not every country has the resources to build a desalination plant, but we all can learn to use water with consideration, because water is not an endless resource, it is a very precious commodity, and it is also very different from the other commodities like petroleum. We cannot live without it, so let's appeal to our governments to recycle the water, to refill the aquifers, to maintain the water infrastructure from leakages. Mainly, let's adopt the water-saving methods for agriculture, and let's not let the rain go to waste by letting it wash away through drainage, but instead let's use it to refill aquifers, rivers, lakes and swamps. But there is something that we can do to save water. These are simple steps. Close the tap while brushing and shaving, take small showers, and also check your washroom of leakages. Now let's end this video here. I hope that you learned something new along with the value of water. If you liked this video, kindly smash the like button and also subscribe to my channel. Hopefully we will meet in a new video. Bye.